Sir?
That's the hustle, my dude. Stay fresh, get him up and down. That's how he comes to work. That's how he comes to work, my dude. Woo-hoo! So Datwon, let's go back to the beginning. How'd you even start to become an editor-in-chief of even one publication? Tell me about that.
Man, basically, like the quick story, I was an intern over at Vibe magazine in '96. I started there, and just under all the greats over there, like Bones Malone and Danielle Smith, who's back there now running it. It was so many, Rob Marriott and Kevin Powell and all of them, and just soaking in that atmosphere at like 21, was incredible, and that's what made me realize, like, yeah, I want to do this on a bigger level. The opportunity to come over to XXL presented itself, and I came in on the ground floor when they were putting the magazine together. And it was all the former editors of The Source that left The Source, like back in the day. So that's James Bernard, Reginald Dennis, Rob Marriott again. And the creative director at the time, his name was Don Morris, and he's the creative director of The Source now, ironically. And I learned so much from those dudes. And when they left XXL, it was the second issue. I was there. I had a chance to run it for like 3 weeks by myself, 22. It was crazy. It was a crazy situation. And then once the staff got bulked up, we made our run, and that was the times when it was Blaze was out and Rap Pages, and you had like all 4080. Yeah, all these hip hop magazines that were out at the time. And it was so much fun. It was really competitive, and everybody's fighting and the music was growing. You had the emergence of Rockefeller and Cash Money and No Limit, and it was just so much inspiration to draw from. And I got the idea for King actually from the readers, because I used to edit the letters section, and whenever we would do a piece, they'll be like, yo, what kind of rims was on that car? Yo, who's that girl in the such and such video? And I started to see the lifestyle element that the music brought. And I was like, hey, even though we're a music magazine, what if we did a magazine just on lifestyle? And of course, make it with the girls. So, put that together, came up with King, and it's been success from there on.
Wow, then how did you go to Rides?
Rides came out of King because I put a dedicated car section in King, and it's called Rides. And I always wanted to do a Rides magazine. Like, I had that idea before I had King, actually, because we would always feature rappers with cars in The Source. I mean, not in The Source, bro.
It's all right. So we're talking about all these publications.
Yeah, in XXL. And I was like, it'll be ill if we just had like a dedicated area for that. And we did that. And then they were like, yo, this area is really hot. The surveys are coming in. It's one of the highest marked. People wanted it. So then, we just flipped it that way. And now that came out. King came out in 01. Rides came out in 03.
Wow. I'm still trying to conceptualize here how you can be the editor-in-chief of King and Rides magazine at the same time, overseeing all. How does that even work, man?
I don't know. Like, when I look back now, and because I'm still in it, when I look back now, I just bogged down and just hustled, and I was making all the calls myself. I had a lot of help. Like, my staff was really, really incredible and everything, but I was the person that had most of the contact. So it was usually just me calling up like, hey, I need Snoop. Hey, I need Tyrese. Our first cover for Rides was the Fast and the Furious Part 2. Oh, wow. Yeah, we had Tyrese, and that was like just going big budget with it, and dealing with the studio, the movie house, and all that stuff. And no one here had really done it that way, so I was breaking new ground by doing those type of things.
Oh, wow. And wow, I'm seeing your hustle and everything you're doing. Tell me one of your best stories of King, and then one of Rides. Tell me a story about a cover shoot, anything. What comes to your mind?
I would say there's two of my favorite stories. One would be the Little Kim cover. Because the Lil Kim cover, King, that was incredible, because that pose was like her pose from the Hardcore album, from her first album. And being from Brooklyn, and she went to my high school, and knowing that she was like the flyest girl in there, and her blowing up, it was like, oh man, I got a chance to work with somebody that's close to my area, and we're in the same game. But she didn't want to redo the pose. So I was like, oh, come on. That was the one that everybody loved, and, with the legs like crazy. Because I was in college, and I used to walk by like on the street and just used to be like,
everywhere.
I remember on the news, they had like a car accident because somebody got in a car accident looking at it. You know what I mean? So I always thought that that's a head turner, and I need that for my cover.
Okay.
So we did the shoot and everything. She did the pose, but she really wasn't feeling it. She came in, and I was just doing the hard press, like, no, you gotta do it. And then her best friend stepped in and was like, Datwon, I'm gonna help you. Don't worry about it. I got this. She took her to the side, brought me over, and was like, we're gonna do this. So that was like one of my really, really turning points as far as like I got to do something that I wanted to do and recreate something that was iconic in my eyes as far as sexy is concerned. And then the other story is Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks, I got her for the cover in 2004. She was actually the place model for our logo choosing. When we were trying to pick out which logo we wanted to do, we used her picture on there. And then the publishers was like, don't worry about you. We won't put the pressure on you to get Tyra. Don't worry about that. This is just for the logo, you know, don't. So at that moment, before the mag was even born, I was just like, you know what? I got to prove to them that I can get her. This isn't a dream. It's like, it's going to happen. And for like 3 years, I used to send her like flowers on her birthday, December 4th, same as Jay-Z. Yeah, so I used to always send her flowers.
3 years, people, 3 years.
3 years. I used to send her flowers, write her letters and all that stuff. And she answered. Like when, I believe it was when her talk show and everything was starting to come about, they were like, yo, we want to do it. And I was like, even I was shocked. Even I was shocked because it was a lot of work to get her. And that was our turning point. When she got on, we got a lot of respect from the fashion houses and just from, you know, different lane of media because she's so big and international. Yeah, and she really showed us love. She was like, well, you know, if I could do it for the mainstream publications, I could do it for a mainstream publication that's on the come up in the urban lane. And I love her for that.
That's beautiful. And that's King Magazine. Now, how about Rides?
Oh, man. Rides, we have too many stories. Like, you know, dealing with cars, man, you got to get the car and the person there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's extra headache. That's what he's trying to say to y'all.
Extra headache. But I have a couple of favorites. I would have to say Pharrell with the Enzo is one of mine. Is one that was crazy because it was just coming out and we couldn't get his, so we had to go get the one that, and he wanted the one that looked just like his, but not the same color. It was real crazy. We had that. We also had a cover that happened but never happened. It was with Kanye West when his first album came out, and he didn't like the rims on the car. He didn't. You know,
that sounds like Kanye.
You know, and that's my man. Like but he was like, everything was right. It was a G500 Benz, silver. He wanted it bare bones, you know, like just like his. But it had AMG rims, and it was like, it's gonna be okay, man. Don't worry about it. They real subtle. He didn't like it. He shut it down. So I ran the cover on the back, and I call him the cover dropout. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people wrote in, and it like flipped it that way. And still had him like on some fly stuff, but had the car next to him like real little and everything. I couldn't let it slide. You know what I mean?
No, I know you had to get him.
Yeah, I had to get him. But we had so many. Snoop cover, Ludacris cover, like he was working on the car. We had a lot of hot covers, man.
So today I get to hang out with this dude right here. Yeah.